In this video, I'll show you how to install Eclipse onto Ubuntu. Eclipse is a very useful editor that you can use to write programs and test your programs. Once we've installed Eclipse, I'll show you how to write your very first program. We'll also briefly look at data types. I won't go into them in depth. I'll just introduce you to a few to get you started. Hello, this is Tony, and today I'm going to show you how to install Eclipse onto Ubuntu. Now this is really incredibly easy because you can find Ubuntu in the application store, so this is just makes it so easy. Right, now we just simply search for Eclipse. And then we go to this button, install. This is, just make sure you've got the right one there. Now we're just going to wait for it to install. Let's test it. This is just asking you for a workspace, so just leave it as default. Now let's get this set up so that we can see what's happening. First, if we go to Window and go to Preferences, and now if we go to Text Editor and Show Line Numbers, so we're going to do that and click Apply. To create a new project, go to this icon here, this arrow that comes down, and go to Java Project. Give it a name. Click Finish. Now go to this arrow on the side where it's appeared and go to this box here that says SRC. Now we go to New and then go to Class, New Class. Now we want to give it a name. We always start classes with capital letters. And then we look at these stubs down here. If you have this one checked, Inherited Abstract Methods, uncheck it because we just don't need it at this point in time. Constructors from a superclass, we don't need that at this point in time either. The only one we need is this public static void main string argos. Okay, so that should do it, and then we just click Finish. Now we have this set it up. So here's the class, get started, and here is it's a comment. It's just saying that, hey, this is a variable. Okay, so in here we're going to take this out. This by the way, this here, this also is a comment. It's a line comment. So we're going to take this out and we're going to just put a simple piece of code in, just so you can get started. So if we have right, we're just going to print a string. print. And in this string, I'm just going to type a simple message. Okay, and we end this line of code with a semicolon. So take note here, this method here has these curly braces. The class has the curly braces, so the method is contained within the curly braces of the class, and this line of code is contained within the curly braces of this method. I'll go into that more later in other videos, but for now we're just going to check this one to see if this works. So if we go to run, make sure it's got the right one selected, click OK, and it runs at the bottom there. Hello, my name is Tony, and my name is indeed Tony. So that's how we set it up. I've shown you how to install it, how to put the numbers down the side because they're very useful. I've also shown you how to set up a new project and how to set up a new class within that project and to write your first line of code. Next, let's have a look at declaring data types. So there are different data types. We'll go into that more later in another video, but right now let's just have a look at two of them. Now there's string, so that obviously declares a string, and there's int. So these are how we declare a data type. So you have to give that data type a variable so that you can store something in it, and we're going to store a name in there. In int here we're going to store a door number. It's going to be a number. Now I could have put this as a string, but I just want to show you what it is that we can do here. Now we can set this to a name, and we always finish our line with a semicolon. And door, I'm going to set that equal to 23, and again we're going to use a semicolon to end that line. Now what you can do is you can now call these variables. Now remember that a variable is a container, and you think of it like a box and you're putting something in it. So we've got a box that can hold strings, and that box is called a name, and we've put Tony in there. We could put Fred or Jill or anything in there. And int also is a box, or door rather is a box, but it can only take numbers of the integer type. That's what int is for. So if I do this, now to link them together, you use a plus sign, and then we would use the name there, and then I'm going to add something else to it. And then add something else again, which is the door variable. Now, when I print this, or when I run this, what have I done? I've made a mistake here somewhere, and it looks as though I have put this curly brace in the wrong place. This should all be And there we go. So now it's printed out whatever value was in here. So I can change that to Fred, and this is to now when I run it, it says that Fred is the name, and 14 is the door because we've changed it up here. So let's do something else here where can I have another int a num, and we're going to set that equal to 34 and 2, and I'm going to set that equal to 23. So if we just take this out and I put now, what is going to happen? Is it going to add them together, or is it going to print them? And it's added them together. See, so you can see how that can be pretty useful. Doing maths with computers is, is going to be pretty useful because you don't have to do the maths then. Okay, so now what if I wanted to do and 0.5. Now we're getting these red lines here because it's not going to work. And if I try to run it, we get an error, an exception. And it's saying a type mismatch cannot convert from double to int. Double there, you see. So if I change these to double, which is another data type, and I change that to double, and now I run it. It now gives you the double version of that, right? So you can see, hopefully, how these can be very, very useful. While we're looking at system out, line, what did we have here? We had Tony, and then I run this. We have Tony there. Now if I do another print, and do Tony, it prints on the next line. You can do this another way. So if I do /n Tony 2 and then run it, it takes it to the next carriage there. So do you see how that works there? If I change this to a T, that stands for tab, now it's spaced them out. So like, this can be useful later on. To summarize, we've installed Eclipse onto Ubuntu. I've shown you how to write your first program, and we went over data types. The data types we went over were strings, integer, and double. I also showed you that we could use special characters within a string when we were printing it out to space them out either onto different lines or to use a tab.